When Alex's mother married again, he never imagined the biggest change in his life wouldn't be the new house, the different city, or even the strange furniture that didn't feel like home yet, but a boy named Daniel. Daniel wasn't just any boy. He was the son of Alex's new stepfather, tall and lean with unruly dark hair and a quiet gaze that seemed to see straight through people. They met in the doorway of the new living room on a gray Sunday afternoon, the sound of rain tapping against the windows as their parents laughed in the kitchen about something domestic and unimportant. "So, you're Alex," Daniel had said, his voice deep yet warm, and Alex nodded, suddenly aware of the way his heart felt like it had skipped a beat. That night, they ate dinner together as if they had been raised in the same house all their lives, trading small glances over mashed potatoes and roast chicken, each pretending not to notice the other's faint smiles. It started slowly, a shared walk to school, because they lived close enough to make it pointless to take the bus, sitting next to each other on the couch to watch movies without really paying attention to the plot, the accidental brushing of hands when they reached for the popcorn at the same time. Daniel had a way of making silence feel comfortable, as if it wasn't a gap in conversation, but a space where something unspoken was growing. Alex wasn't sure when it shifted from casual to electric, but he remembered one night in particular, a chilly Friday when their parents were out for a dinner date, leaving them alone in the warm, dimly lit living room. They were supposed to be watching a film, but Daniel kept stealing glances at Alex, and Alex could feel the weight of those looks as though they were a touch. Finally, Daniel spoke, voice low and hesitant. "You ever feel like you meet someone and just know?" Alex's pulse quickened. "Know what?" he asked. Daniel's lips twitched into a small, almost shy smile. "That they're going to matter to you, more than they should." From that night on, something shifted. They didn't talk about it directly, but their days became filled with a closeness that neither of them dared to label. They studied together, leaning over the same notebook until their shoulders touched. They lingered in doorways after saying goodnight, eyes locked just a second too long. They found excuses to be in the same room, without any real reason. Alex started to notice the little things about Daniel. The way his hair curled at the nape of his neck when it was damp, the faint scar on his wrist from when he fell off his bike as a kid, the softness in his voice when he spoke about music. And Daniel noticed Alex too. The way his laugh broke halfway through, the way he tapped his pen against his bottom lip when he was thinking, the way his eyes lit up when he talked about his dreams of traveling. One afternoon in early spring, when the air was still cool but the light felt warmer, they walked home from school through a park, the grass fresh and green after weeks of rain. Daniel stopped under a blooming cherry tree, pink petals drifting around them like snow, and looked at Alex with strange intensity. "I like you," he said, as if it had been burning in his throat for weeks. Alex froze, heart hammering. "You're my stepbrother," he managed, as if saying it would make the feeling go away. But Daniel only stepped closer, the faintest smile on his lips. "You're also the first person who's ever made me feel like this." Alex didn't know who moved first, but suddenly their foreheads were touching, breaths mingling, the world narrowing down to the space between them. They didn't kiss, not then, but in that moment, it felt like they already had. The months that followed were the kind of slow, careful closeness that made every glance and every word feel loaded. They never crossed a line they couldn't uncross, but they lingered near it constantly, dancing on the edge of something they both wanted and feared. They spent long summer evenings sprawled on the roof, watching the stars and talking about futures that felt impossibly far away. They walked along the shore at night when the family went on vacation, their footsteps in sync, sometimes letting their hands brush, sometimes not. There were moments of jealousy, when Daniel laughed too long at someone else's joke, when Alex saw Daniel talking to a boy from a soccer team. But they never spoke about it. Instead, they kept their world small and precious, guarding it like a secret treasure. It wasn't until the night of Daniel's 18th birthday that everything came to a quiet turning point. Their parents had gone to bed after the party, leaving the kitchen littered with half-empty glasses and plates of crumbs. Daniel was sitting on the counter, legs swinging, while Alex leaned against the opposite counter, nursing the last of his soda. They talked about nothing and everything, music, travel, the ridiculousness of high school drama, until Daniel's laughter faded into a softer expression. "You know," he said, "I don't think I've ever thanked you for making this place feel like home." Alex looked up sharply, catching the sincerity in Daniel's gaze. "You make it feel like home, too," he replied, and for a moment, the air between them felt like it was humming. Daniel hopped down from the counter, closing the space between them, and without any grand gesture, he reached for Alex's hand. They stood there, hands clasped, in a kitchen that suddenly felt like the safest place in the world. Their love wasn't about fireworks or declarations. It was in the quiet mornings when one would bring the other coffee, in the way they learned to read each other's moods without words, and the comfort of knowing they could just be. By the time Alex left for college a year later, they had both accepted, without ever really saying it, that they were each other's first love. They kept in touch through late-night calls, sending each other songs that reminded them of shared moments, visiting whenever they could. Life moved forward, new cities, new experiences, but that connection never faded. Years later, when Alex returned home for the holidays, they found themselves back under that same cherry tree in the park, now bare from winter, the ground dusted with frost. Daniel smiled, a little older, a little more sure of himself. "Remember what I said here?" he asked. Alex nodded, heart tightening. "Yeah, you said you liked me." Daniel's smile softened. "Still do." And though their paths have been winding and the years have been long, in that moment, Alex realized that some loves, no matter how complicated, never really end. They simply grow with you, becoming a part of who you are.